Next up on WTV, a look at National Holocaust Remembrance Day, this week's edition of Trivia, and today's Sports Minute. WTV's daily update starts now. Good morning, Red Hawk Nation. Today is Monday, January 27th, and I'm Hannah Beeler with today's daily update, brought to you by Wingspan TV. Learning comes in various ways with historical events, often boiled down to nothing more than dates, facts, and statistics. But here on campus, from social studies to English to the fine arts, the Holocaust is getting an in-depth analysis. In this Wingspan special report, WTV's Kirti Gamadi takes a look at how today's teens are learning about the Holocaust in different ways.
In 1933, the world took a dark turn when the systematic persecution of millions of people occurred because of their ethnic, religious, and political views. In 2019, the state of Texas passed Senate Bill 1828 to mark January 27th as Holocaust Remembrance Day. High schools all over Texas will be remembering and recognizing the Holocaust. History teacher Jeff Crow has found that learning about the Holocaust is an important part of a student's education.
The reason that the state chose January 27th for Holocaust Remembrance Day is that that's the date Auschwitz was liberated by the Allied troops. We usually teach the Holocaust during the period where we're studying the lead up to World War II and then during World War II. But we also talk about the Holocaust when we look at other genocides around the country, whether that's in Darfur or the Armenians in Turkey, the Sudanese. There's lots of different, and it's still going on today, by the way, in Syria, in Myanmar. There are people that are being targeted because of their ethnic or religious backgrounds. So this isn't something that's new, this isn't something that's gone away, this isn't something that started and ended with Hitler, and it's something that every generation has to deal with and fight against. Every generation has their own Nazis, per se, and so I feel like, and surveys have shown that there's a little bit of out of sight, out of mind. People are beginning to forget about the Holocaust. So I support this law. I support the Remembrance Day Act. And I think that people need to be reminded, every new generation needs to be reminded that, man's inhumanity to man continues, and it's happened in the past, and we need to guard against it. I think tolerance is an important part of public education, understanding diversity, developing an empathy for other people. I think that that's a big part of public education.
However, many students still find it difficult to understand the true nature of the events that happened. Pre-AP English 2 students are learning to bridge this gap by reading the novel Night by Elie Wiesel.
Wiesel was a Holocaust survivor, and Night is his account of him surviving the Holocaust, being in Auschwitz and living through it when he was like 15 years old. I think the whole purpose of reading something like Night, in addition to having just that general historical context, is to put kind of names and faces with those events, to kind of flesh out what it would have felt like to live through it. So I think it's very important to read those first-hand accounts and experience those things, or get close to an experience of those events through the eyes of the person who experienced it.
While students may have learned about the Holocaust in past classes, reading Night is helping them better understand what had happened.
Before I read the book, I knew that the Holocaust happened, and I knew it was a great tragedy, but the book has really opened my eyes, and it's shown me the effects that it had on the families and all the Jews. I think it sheds more light on the situation than a statistic ever could. Part of when we write about it, in order to write about it, we have to really understand it, and I think being required to write about it forces us to understand what they went through, understand all their problems, and gets us just understand the deeper meaning of what we're reading.
The book gives students a more personal approach to learning about the Holocaust, rather than through statistics.
Reading the book, it's just one guy telling the story, but you really get to see like a personal view, so it's just really nice to see like really exactly what they went through instead of like just like hearing the statistics and hearing everything. Because if you hear like all the big numbers and you don't get the personal experience, like the torture and like all the bad things that happened. I think that learning about it, it definitely impacts us today, because that's like a lot of people that died, and learning about it, it really helps us like prevent it in the future, or just to see like what they really went through, and helps us like have empathy towards them, and just to I don't know, just really like love on them, because that's a really bad thing.
Learning about the Holocaust on campus is extended to the theater department. Directing the student-led production, The Diary of Anne Frank, senior Lauren Head was inspired by her visit to the Anne Frank house in the Netherlands.
I actually got the chance to go to Amsterdam last summer just for a visit with my grandparents, and I hadn't really learned a whole lot about Anne Frank at that point. I was reading her diary actually on the way to Amsterdam, so that was my first kind of experience with that. I kind of knew the primary basis of the story, but I didn't know all the details about it yet. And when I got there, and once I had finished reading her diary and I got to experience how she lived in the annex that she was in, it was just really inspiring to me, because I got to see a girl with so much ambition and drive that I kind of got to relate to, but also that was put through these horrible circumstances that I couldn't even imagine in today's society. So that was took a really big toll on me, and how I kind of observed the Holocaust and how I observed just the prejudice and bias that goes on in today's world and in the world historically. I don't think that a lot of people know so much of the details that goes into it. I think we all have a good premise of just the overall story, but not necessarily all the details and the true impact that it had, because we don't see that reflected so much in our society today.
For sophomore Nathan Daly, being in the play also helped him understand the conditions people went through.
I feel like it adds an aspect of realism to the whole thing, so I do relate to it more so than statistics, because I genuinely have learned how to feel for the people that went through the whole thing, and it saddens me to know all about it, and it's kind of furthered my knowledge in knowing exactly how people felt in situations, what life was like during those times. So I gathered a deeper understanding.
For some students, the Holocaust is more than just something learned in a social studies class. It is an important part of family history and is something that can never be forgotten.
We're Russian Jews. We lived in Russia or Ukraine, the same, like somewhere on the border. And my great-grandfather was sent to fight. We had a Jewish last name at the time, I believe. This was on my mother's side. We had a Jewish last name, and my grandfather's troops got captured by the Nazis. His best friend was shot down, and to avoid getting sent to a concentration camp because of his name, because it was obvious, you know, he took his dead best friend's ID card and he switched theirs. So he went to one of the Russian work camps. He still went to camp, but he survived and he went back home. Me personally, I don't bode with the whole Holocaust joke thing very well. The insensitivity to the topic really affects me on another level. I can't be tolerant of people who are making jokes about the Holocaust when it impacted millions of people in a whole. It cut down the Jewish population by like a third. It's not okay to make jokes about it, and it's not okay to be tolerant to those jokes.
Reporting for WTV, I'm Kirthi Gamadi.
Red Rhythm competition season is heating up. WTV's Stephanie Chung takes a look at how they're getting ready.
The dance team is doing 3 different routines for the contest in February.
The theme of the year is Hometown Heroes, and we have 3 team contest routines that we are going to be competing this season. We have a kick that is dedicated to our Frisco firefighters, and our palm routine is dedicated to FISD coaches. And then we have a military routine that's dedicated to veterans in general. I think just first coming up with a theme and an idea and who we're wanting to choreograph the routines for inspires the choreography and the music selection.
Red Rhythm members are practicing their dance moves almost every day after school and in the mornings, wherever they can find space.
Drill team Red Rhythm is really time consuming in the contest season. So football season, it was like the practice schedule was really regular, but with contest season, we always want to try to practice in the gym. So we have to adjust our practice schedule so that, you know, whenever the gym is free, we're practicing then. So that's just the thing with contest season, is that we have to be really fluid and adaptable to different times.
Reporting for WTV, this is Hi, I'm Stephanie Zhang.
On this week's edition of Trivia, WTV's Madigan Gunia fills in for TJ Krilovich and hits the halls to test students' knowledge on the Super Bowl.
Hello, welcome to Wingsuit Trivia. I'm your host, Madigan Gunia, filling in for TJ Krilovich, and today we'll be testing students' knowledge on the Super Bowl. How many times have the Browns won the Super Bowl?
I think like twice. It's twice.
0. 0? I don't know.
Okay. And where is the Super Bowl taking place this year?
American Airlines Center.
At, I think, San Francisco?
I want to say, I don't know. New Orleans?
Okay. How many Super Bowls have there been?
54?
54. This will be the, I believe, 54th Super Bowl.
Okay. How much is the most expensive Super Bowl ticket?
I'd say probably well into the 10,000s.
Wow. At least $5,000 maybe. Probably about 3.5.
What?
Nah, actually, it's like 1 million.
1 million?
Or like no. Like 500,000. Something like that.
Reporting for WTV, this is Madigan Gunia.
Red Hawk Sports had a busy weekend. WTV's Akhil Katori has a recap on today's Sports Minute.
Boys and girls basketball played against Reedy on Friday. The boys team came out with a win 51-46. The girls team also beat the Lions 40-27. Both teams play again tomorrow night versus Memorial at the Nest. The girls game starts at 6 o'clock and the boys at 7:15. Boys and girls soccer matched up against Lebanon Trail on Friday. The boys team tied with the Trailblazers 0-0. Girls fell to Lebanon Trail 2-1. Both teams play again tomorrow night versus Frisco. The girls game starts at 7 o'clock at Frisco. The boys' game starts at 7:15 at Liberty. For WTV Sports, this is Akhil Katuri.
If you're looking for more from Wingspan, you can follow us at Liberty Wingspan on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or visit our award-winning website, libertywingspan.com. And now here's WTV's Sindri Andros with today's announcement.
The PALS Student Ambassador Course application is now open. Upcoming juniors and seniors are invited to apply for this prestigious program. Applications are due by February 13th at 4:30 p.m. Please see the counseling office with any questions. The link to the applications is bit.ly/PALS2020. Are TikTok and YouTube part of your daily routine? If so, sign up for Video Tech on your 2020-2021 class schedule. Students in Video Tech will learn how to make quality videos that can be used across a wide variety of platforms from class projects to social media. Visit room C102 for more information. Do you enjoy photography, writing, marketing? Join Yearbook. Applications are due February 13th and are available outside of room C147. Don't miss out on reserving a yearbook. Buy yours for $75 by January 31st at ball4.com.
That's it for today's daily update. This is Hannah Beeler for Wingspan TV.